Anger is a fire, a destructive force that burns through your mind and body, leaving chaos in its wake. It clouds your judgment, pushes you into pointless confrontations, and traps you in a relentless cycle of bitterness and regret. Think about it. How often has anger hijacked your peace, leading you to say or do things you later wished you could take back? It feels as if others hold the power to ignite this fire within you, controlling your emotions and your actions. But what if they didn't? What if there were a way to extinguish this fire forever? A way to ensure that no one, no matter how cruel, careless, or cunning, could ever make you angry or disturb your peace again. In today's video, we'll explore how the timeless wisdom of Stoicism holds the key to mastering your emotions and breaking free from the chains of anger. This isn't just about suppressing rage, it's about transforming even the most infuriating situations into opportunities for growth, strength, and ultimate peace. Stay with us until the end to learn the powerful art of emotional control. Don't forget to hit like, share, and subscribe to Victory Stoic, and leave a comment with the affirmation, "I choose calm and power," to declare your commitment to mastering your inner world. Number 1. Understanding that anger is the ultimate enemy. Anger is seductive. It convinces you that it's your ally, that it will protect you, defend your honor, and make others see your worth. But in reality, anger is the ultimate enemy. It doesn't just harm those around you. It turns inward, eating away at your peace, your health, and your happiness. Like a poison disguised as a remedy, it promises power but delivers destruction. Imagine this. You're in an argument with your partner. They say something sharp, something they don't even mean, but that cuts deep. You feel the surge of anger rising like a tidal wave. You snap back, words flying out of your mouth before you can stop them. The look on their faces changes from frustration to hurt, and suddenly the fight isn't about the original issue anymore. It's about the damage your anger just caused. The connection you've built over the years takes another blow, all because you let your emotions take control. Or think about a workplace scenario. A colleague takes credit for your idea during a meeting. Your heart pounds, your face flushes, and you can feel the words forming in your throat. But instead of calmly addressing the situation later, you erupt in the moment, making a scene. The result? The focus shifts from their wrongdoing to your reaction. The anger you thought would defend you ends up undermining your credibility. The Stoics understood this all too well. They taught that anger is never a sign of strength. It is a sign of weakness, of a mind not yet disciplined. As Marcus Aurelius wisely wrote, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." True power lies not in lashing out, but in maintaining control. A Stoic sees anger for what it is, an internal fire that consumes everything in its path if left unchecked. When someone insults you, the insult itself doesn't harm you. It's your anger, your choice to let it in, that creates the wound. Imagine standing in a storm. The rain can't soak you unless you remove your cloak. Similarly, insults and provocations can't hurt you unless you allow anger to strip away your composure. How to confront your anger. The next time you feel anger rising, pause. Take a breath and remind yourself, is this worth losing my peace over? Think long term. Will this moment matter in a week, a month, or a year? Likely not. By choosing to respond instead of react, you not only diffuse the situation but also reinforce your strength. Remember, as the Stoics teach, the strong person is not the one who overpowers others, but the one who overcomes their anger. Anger is not your ally. Master it, and you master yourself. Number 2. Separate emotion from logic. Imagine you're driving down a busy road. Suddenly, a car swerves into your lane, forcing you to hit the brakes. Your heart races, your fists clench, and the heat of anger rises in your chest. You imagine confronting the other driver, yelling, or at least honking furiously to show your outrage. But pause for a second. What will this accomplish? Will shouting change what happened? Will your honking teach the other driver a lesson they'll carry forever? Likely not. What it will do is ruin your day, and that's where logic must step in to save the day. The Stoics teach that emotions are natural, but they don't have to control you. Emotions are signals, not commands. Anger tells you that you feel wronged, fear signals potential danger, and sadness reflects loss. But your job isn't to obey these feelings blindly, it's to interpret them rationally. As Epictetus famously said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Why logic is your best ally? Emotions often exaggerate reality. That driver who cut you off, they might have made a careless mistake, not a calculated attempt to ruin your day. In relationships, your partner forgetting an anniversary might feel like a deliberate slight, but in reality, they could simply be overwhelmed or distracted. Logic allows you to pause and ask, what is the most reasonable explanation for this situation? A simple, logical approach. When emotions hit hard, use this 3-step process to regain control. 1. Pause and name the emotion. The moment you feel a strong emotion, stop and identify it. Say to yourself, I'm feeling angry or I'm feeling hurt. This simple act shifts your focus from reacting to observing. Why it works. Naming your emotion engages the logical part of your brain, creating distance between you and the feeling. 2. Ask yourself logical questions. Once you've named the emotion, ask, what triggered this? What's the most logical explanation? Will reacting help me or make things worse? These questions redirect your mind from the emotional whirlwind to rational problem solving. 3. Choose your response intentionally. Instead of reacting impulsively, decide what action aligns with your long-term values. Example: instead of yelling at the driver, shrug it off and remind yourself you've avoided an accident. Detaching emotions from logic doesn't mean you suppress feelings, it means you don't let them control you. Imagine your mind as a courtroom, where emotions present their case, but logic has the final say. This balance ensures your actions are intentional, not impulsive. As the Stoics remind us, your mind is your kingdom. Do not let emotions overthrow the ruler. Mastering this separation doesn't make you cold, it makes you powerful. Number 3, accept that life isn't fair. Let's get this out of the way. Life isn't fair, and it never will be. The sooner you accept this cosmic truth, the sooner you can stop throwing tantrums like a toddler who didn't get their second cookie. The promotion you deserved? Someone else, less qualified, got it. The love you gave selflessly? Barely reciprocated. And don't even start on the fact that the neighbor who never exercises can eat an entire pizza without gaining weight while you agonize over a single slice. Life plays favorites. And guess what? You're not always it. The Stoics didn't waste their time whining about fairness. They knew it was a fool's errand. Marcus Aurelius himself faced betrayal, political treachery, and probably some really bad dinner parties in ancient Rome. Yet he famously wrote, "You cannot control the actions of others, but you can control your response to them." Life's unfairness doesn't define you. Your ability to rise above it does. When you stop expecting life to be fair, you liberate yourself from unnecessary frustration. Think of life as a poker game. You don't get to choose the cards you're dealt, but you do decide how to play them. Complaining about a bad hand won't change it, but playing it strategically might win you the pot. The same principle applies to life. Stop obsessing over what's unfair and focus on what you can do about it. Imagine this. You've worked overtime for weeks, staying late, sacrificing sleep, and skipping social events. Then your coworker, the one who spends half their day on social media, gets the employee award. The rage bubbles up. How is this fair? You scream internally. Newsflash. It's not. But what's your next move? Spend the rest of the day fuming and sabotaging your productivity. Or let it go. Focus on your growth and find opportunities that reward your efforts. How to handle life's injustice. 1. Shift your focus. Ask yourself, what can I control in this situation? Redirect your energy toward things you can influence, not the unfairness itself. 2. Reframe the narrative. Instead of whining, think, this is a test of my resilience. Every unfair moment is a chance to strengthen your character. 3. Celebrate small wins. Sure, life's unfair, but look around. There's always something to be grateful for. Your small victories are still yours to own. Life doesn't owe you anything. That may sound harsh, but it's also freeing. When you stop waiting for the universe to balance the scales, you become the master of your perspective. The next time life throws you an unfair curveball, remember, the real power lies in how you handle it. As the Stoics say, you cannot change the world, but you can change the way you face it. Face it with strength, humor, and the unwavering resolve to rise above. Number 4. See anger as a test. Picture yourself as a warrior on an ancient battlefield. The sun beats down, your armor feels heavy, and the enemy approaches. But this isn't a battle of swords and shields, this is a battle of the mind. Your opponent? Anger. It charges at you, fierce and relentless, daring you to lose control. Will you crumble under its weight, or will you stand tall, using each encounter to sharpen your mental blade? The Stoics believed that life's challenges, including anger, are not curses but opportunities, tests sent to forge your resilience. Every time anger rises, it's as though the gods of the forge are heating your soul, hammering it against the anvil of adversity and shaping it into something unbreakable. Marcus Aurelius, one of history's greatest Stoic emperors, wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." In every frustrating moment, there lies a chance to train. Imagine you're in a crowded market. A merchant accuses you of stealing, a baseless, humiliating claim. Your instinct screams for retaliation, for shouting back, for lashing out. But this is your test. Will you react like an untrained recruit, striking wildly and losing your composure? Or will you channel the discipline of a seasoned warrior, mastering your anger and responding with calm authority? Anger is not the enemy itself. It's the sparring partner pushing you to strengthen your mental defenses. Each time you face it, you become sharper, stronger, and more unyielding. The weapons of control. A warrior doesn't enter the battlefield unarmed. To pass anger's test, you must wield the right weapons. 1. The shield of perspective. Before you react, ask yourself, is this worth my energy? Deflect petty provocations, letting them slide off your armor like harmless arrows. Example, a stranger cuts you off in traffic. Instead of pursuing a pointless argument, remind yourself, I'm on a much larger mission than this. 2. The sword of discipline. Channel your focus into decisive, calm action rather than emotional outbursts. Tip: breathe deeply as if preparing for the next strike and let logic guide your response. 3. The helm of detachment. Protect your mind from being overtaken by emotion. Remember, anger only wins if you let it infiltrate your thoughts. Forging the indomitable warrior. Each encounter with anger is like adding another layer of steel to your armor. The more tests you endure, the stronger you become. What once enraged you will one day feel insignificant, a mere mosquito buzzing against an impenetrable wall of calm. The Stoics remind us, what doesn't break you makes you stronger. Anger is not a foe to be feared, but a sparring partner sent to test your mettle. Each time you defeat it, with reason and restraint, you emerge from the forge of life as a true warrior. Calm, controlled, and utterly unshakable. So, step onto the battlefield of life with confidence. Let anger come, let it test you, and then show it the strength of a mind forged in fire. You are the master of your fate, the warrior of your soul, and no emotion will ever conquer you. Number 5. Realize that no one can truly hurt you. Let's be honest. Most of the time, the people who hurt us aren't wielding swords. They're tossing paper airplanes. A rude comment, a snide remark, or an eye roll feels like an attack at the moment, but in reality, the pain only sticks because we let it. The Stoics had it right when they said, nothing can harm you unless your soul consents to it. Imagine this, you're at a family gathering. Your cousin, who's convinced they're the smartest person in the room, makes a snarky comment about your career. Still doing that little job of yours? Ouch, right? But pause. Does that comment harm you? Or does it only sting because you've decided it's an insult worth feeling bad about? The truth is, their words are empty, like shooting blanks in a duel. The harm comes only when you hand them the bullets by letting them bother you. How does harm work? People's words and actions are like stones thrown at a fortress. If your walls are strong, the stones bounce off harmlessly. But if you leave the gates open, they tumble right in. The control over whether harm gets through lies with you, not the stone thrower. That coworker who talks over you in meetings? Sure, it's frustrating, but it doesn't diminish your value. That friend who forgot your birthday? Annoying, but it doesn't erase your worth. You decide if these minor slights stick or slide. Let's take another example. You're scrolling through social media when a stranger comments, "Your opinion is stupid." Suddenly your blood boils. You spend the next hour crafting a fiery response, rereading their profile to gather more reasons to dislike them. But wait. Who is this person? They're a random face behind a screen, someone whose opinion means nothing in your real life. Yet, you've handed over your peace of mind like it was a free giveaway. Here's the Stoic method for keeping your fortress strong. 1. Pause before reacting. When you feel hurt, ask yourself, does this matter? 99% of the time, it doesn't. 2. Detach from intentions. Remember, most slights aren't about you. They're a reflection of the other person's issues, insecurities, or bad days. 3. Reframe the situation. Treat insults like background noise. Someone can call you foolish, but that doesn't make it true. Just as calling the sky green doesn't change its color. As the Stoics remind us, you cannot control what others do, but you can control how you respond. Think of yourself as a mirror. If someone spits at it, the mirror isn't harmed. It simply reflects the action. Likewise, you can choose to let others' words and actions pass through you without leaving a mark. The next time someone throws a verbal jab your way, smile to yourself and think, this doesn't touch me unless I let it. Walk away unbothered, knowing that you, not them, hold the true power. Number 6. Understand, don't judge. Imagine yourself as a towering giant standing atop a mountain. Below, the world unfolds in miniature. People rushing around, bumping into each other, shouting, gesturing, and creating chaos. From your elevated vantage point, their frantic movements look almost comical. You see them for what they are, small figures caught in the storms of their fears, insecurities, and ignorance. You could laugh, pity them, or even feel detached from their turmoil, but instead, you choose to understand. This is the Stoic way, to rise above the chaos and observe it with clarity. Marcus Aurelius, himself an emperor and a giant in his time, wrote, "No one does wrong willingly. Every misstep comes from ignorance or fear." When you see the world through this lens, judgment falls away and compassion takes its place. From the peak of wisdom, the noise of everyday drama becomes a background hum. That coworker who snaps at you, they're not evil. They're carrying stress from a life you can't see. The friend who constantly cancels plans, they're likely overwhelmed by fears they haven't shared. The person who cuts you off in traffic, perhaps they're rushing to a hospital, consumed by panic. When you stop judging and start understanding, their actions lose their power to disturb you. Picture two people witnessing the same event. One, standing in the fray, sees only the immediate insult. A stranger shoves past them in a crowded market. They react with indignation, shouting, "How dare you?" The other, watching from above, sees the full picture. The stranger is frantic, trying to reach their child who wandered off. From this higher perspective, there's no room for anger, only empathy. You are the giant. From your position, you see the forces driving people's behavior: fear, pain, ignorance, or simply human error. Why waste energy judging when you can understand instead? How to practice understanding. 1. Ask, don't assume. When someone acts rudely, pause and think, what might they be going through? Often, their behavior is more about their inner struggles than about you. 2. Detach emotionally. Remember, their actions are their story, not yours. Observe without entanglement. 3. Reframe behavior. Instead of labeling someone as difficult or selfish, consider them as a fellow human navigating their chaos, just as you are. The Stoics understood that judgment is a wasteful luxury. Marcus Aurelius taught us to replace criticism with curiosity, to see the brokenness in others as a reflection of their journey, not a reflection of our worth. When you understand this, you free yourself from the petty dramas that ensnare others. Standing atop your mountain of calm and wisdom, you are untouchable. You see the storms below, but you remain steady, rooted in the strength of understanding. Be the giant who observes the chaos with grace, compassion, and unwavering serenity. After all, why descend into the madness when you can rise above it? Number 7. No one is truly perfect. Perfection is a myth, one of those quaint little lies society tells to keep us endlessly chasing our tails. Nobody is perfect, and thank the gods for that. Can you imagine how insufferable life would be if everyone around you were flawless? No awkward small talk, no hilarious fails, no one to roll your eyes at. Perfection would be the death of personality, but here's the kicker. Even though we know this, we still expect others to meet ridiculous standards. Does your friend forget to call you back? How inconsiderate. Does your partner leave the cap off the toothpaste? Do they even love me? Does your coworker send an email with a typo? This is why we can't have nice things. The reality is, these are human mistakes, not character flaws. You're not dealing with gods descended from Olympus. You're dealing with mere mortals like yourself. Picture this. You're at a dinner party. The host accidentally serves overcooked chicken, the bread is a bit stale, and the wine, cheap and borderline vinegar. Do you storm out in a huff? Of course not. You smile, nod politely, and focus on the effort they made to bring everyone together. Why? Because you understand that mistakes are part of being human. Now, apply that grace to the rest of your life. The undercooked ideas, the stale apologies, the cheap attempts at connection, they're all imperfect, and that's perfectly fine. The Stoics had no patience for the fantasy of perfection. Epictetus famously reminded us, if you wish to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. In other words, imperfection isn't just acceptable, it's essential for growth. People stumble, fumble, and fall because that's how they learn to walk. Expecting perfection is like asking a tree to grow without shedding its leaves. It's unnatural and, frankly, a little unreasonable. When you accept that no one is perfect, you free yourself from disappointment and the exhausting habit of criticism. Your friend who interrupts you constantly? Maybe they're just passionate. Your partner who can't cook to save their life? At least they tried. The coworker who always shows up late? All right, that one's still annoying, but at least you won't waste energy raging about it. The Stoic approach to imperfection. 1. Recognize your flaws first. Marcus Aurelius wrote, whenever you are about to find fault with someone, ask yourself the following question. What fault of mine most nearly resembles the one I am about to criticize? Chances are, you're no paragon of virtue either. 2. Reframe mistakes as opportunities. Instead of seeing imperfections as failures, view them as stepping stones for growth, both theirs and yours. 3. Practice gratitude for the effort. Remember, people's attempts, however clumsy, often come from a place of good intention. When you let go of the illusion of perfection, life becomes infinitely lighter. Instead of holding others to impossible standards, you can appreciate them for who they are. Gloriously flawed, endlessly fascinating, and let's be honest, sometimes hilariously ridiculous. As Epictetus would say, what upsets people is not things themselves, but their judgments about these things. So, next time someone screws up, laugh, shrug, and let it go. After all, the only perfect thing in this world is the idea that no one ever will be. Number 8. Let go of what you cannot control. Imagine clinging to a rope that's tied to a boulder, and that boulder is plummeting off a cliff. Your hands burn, your arms ache, and you're desperately holding on, hoping. What exactly? That you'll stop the boulder? Pull it back up? Let's be real, you're only hurting yourself. The smarter move is simple. Let go. Life is full of boulders, things completely beyond your control. Other people's opinions, random misfortunes, the weather, or that barista who always gets your coffee order wrong. Yet, we waste so much time and energy clinging to these uncontrollables, as if our anger or worry will somehow change them. Spoiler alert, it won't. All it does is tighten the rope around your peace of mind. The Stoics were masters of this mindset. Epictetus, the ancient philosopher who might as well have invented the phrase, chill out, said, there are things which are within our power, and there are things beyond our power. Focus only on the former. It's a liberating thought. You can't control the storm, but you can control how you sail through it. Letting go isn't weakness, it's wisdom. Picture this, you're stuck in traffic, running late for an important meeting. You grip the steering wheel, fuming at the cars ahead, honking as if the noise will magically clear the road. Does it work? Of course not. The traffic doesn't care about your rage. But here's what does happen. Your blood pressure spikes, your day is ruined, and by the time you arrive, you're too frazzled to focus. Letting go of the frustration wouldn't have changed the traffic, but it would have spared you the suffering. Or take relationships. Your partner didn't text back immediately. Cue the overthinking, the imaginary arguments, the passive-aggressive replies. But here's the truth. You can't control their response time. What you can control is your reaction. Letting go of the need for immediate reassurance doesn't just calm you, it also strengthens the relationship by removing unnecessary tension. How to master letting go. 1. Separate what you can control from what you can't. Ask yourself, is this within my power? If the answer is no, drop it like that burning rope. 2. Focus on your response. You can't control what happens, but you can control how you react. Choose calm over chaos. 3. Remind yourself of the freedom in letting go. Clinging to what you can't control is a prison. Letting go is liberation. Letting go isn't about giving up, it's about gaining back your peace. When you stop trying to wrestle the uncontrollable, you free your energy for what truly matters: your actions, your growth, and your happiness. As the Stoics wisely put it, letting go is not losing, it is gaining freedom. So release that burning rope, watch the boulder fall, and enjoy the lightness that follows. You'll find that life is much easier to navigate when you're not dragging unnecessary weight behind you. Number 9. Everything is temporary. Life is fleeting, and so are its annoyances. The person who infuriates you today, they might not even cross your path tomorrow. The moment of anger that consumes you, it will vanish like smoke in the wind. The Stoics understood this well. Everything, both joy and frustration, is temporary, and it is in this impermanence that we find both peace and perspective. Imagine this. You're at a family gathering, and that one relative, you know the one, makes their usual offhanded, irritating remark. Still single? Don't you think it's time to settle down? Your anger flares, and suddenly the whole event feels tainted. But pause and consider. How often do you even see this person? Once a year? Twice, at most? Is it worth letting one fleeting interaction ruin your day or your relationship? The Stoics taught us to see the impermanence of life not as something to fear, but as something to cherish. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Do not act as if you will live 10,000 years. Death hangs over you. While you live, while it is in your power, be good." This applies not just to how we live, but to how we react. Anger wastes the precious, finite time we have with others, even those who test our patience. The person who cut you off in traffic, the coworker who forgot to credit your idea, the friend who said something tactless. None of them are permanent fixtures in your life. Their actions, no matter how aggravating, are fleeting. Why let a momentary lapse in judgment, theirs or yours, tarnish the bigger picture? Here's another truth. The mistakes that annoy you in others are mistakes you've probably made yourself. That rude comment? You've had your moments. Is that forgotten favor? Guilty as charged. Understanding impermanence means acknowledging that everyone, including you, stumbles through life imperfectly. How to embrace impermanence? 1. Zoom out. When someone angers you, imagine how trivial the situation will seem in a week, a month, or a year. Most grievances shrink to nothing when viewed from the wider lens of time. 2. Ask yourself, how often do I see this person? If it's infrequent, let it go. A minor annoyance during one rare encounter isn't worth the emotional cost. 3. Find gratitude in the moment. Instead of focusing on their flaw, focus on the fact that this moment, even with its imperfections, won't come again. Impermanence teaches us to treasure what we have, flaws and all. The person you're angry with today may not be here tomorrow. Their annoying habits, their tactless words, their human imperfections, all of it will pass, as will your own. As the Stoics remind us, everything is fleeting, both what you love and what you hate. Use this knowledge to rise above petty grievances and cherish the time you have. After all, life is too short to waste on anger when it could be spent on understanding, forgiveness, and, dare I say it, even humor. So the next time you find yourself fuming over someone's behavior, smile and think, this too shall pass. And in that passing, you will find peace. Number 10. Compassion is the ultimate weapon. Imagine being a warrior on the battlefield, not armed with swords or shields, but with a weapon far more powerful: compassion. While anger and conflict might feel like the natural response to hostility, compassion disarms situations with a grace that no force can match. It is not a sign of weakness, but a mark of immense strength. To meet rage with understanding and hostility with kindness is to rise above, unshaken by the chaos around you. Compassion turns the tables. When someone lashes out, they expect retaliation, anger for anger, insult for insult. But when you respond with compassion, you break the cycle. You confuse them, not with malice, but with your refusal to stoop to the level of anger. You show that you are in control, not just of the situation, but of yourself. Picture this. A coworker snaps at you in a meeting, criticizing your work in front of everyone. Your first instinct? Defend yourself, maybe even snap back. But what if instead, you pause and say, "It seems like you're under a lot of stress. Is there something I can help with?" Watch as their anger deflates, their aggression replaced by embarrassment or even gratitude. Your compassion didn't just diffuse their rage, It elevated you above the fray. The Stoics understood that compassion isn't passive, it's transformative. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Whenever you are about to find fault with someone, ask yourself, what pain must they be going through to act this way?" Compassion doesn't mean you condone bad behavior. It means you choose to understand rather than escalate. By doing so, you maintain your power while offering the other person a chance to reflect and improve. A practical guide to compassion. 1. Pause and reflect. Before reacting, ask yourself, what might be driving this person's anger? Often, their behavior has more to do with their struggles than with you. 2. Respond. Don't react. Replace an angry response with a kind but firm one. For example, "I hear what you're saying, let's talk about how we can solve this." 3. Lead by example. Compassion doesn't just resolve conflicts, it sets a standard. Your calm, empathetic response inspires others to handle their frustrations more gracefully. Think of compassion as a mirror. When someone projects anger, your compassion reflects it as understanding. Over time, this approach not only diffuses conflicts but also earns respect. It's hard to argue with someone who refuses to argue back and instead seeks to understand. Compassion, like any weapon, requires skill and strength to wield effectively. The Stoics remind us that kindness is invincible when coupled with patience. It is not about letting people walk over you. It is about choosing a response that strengthens you while disarming them. The next time you face hostility, don't reach for anger, reach for compassion. It is the ultimate weapon, one that leaves you undefeated and your opponent disarmed, not by force, but by the sheer strength of your understanding. In this way, you become not just a warrior of peace, but a master of life's most challenging battles. Number 11. Peace is ultimate power. True power isn't loud. It doesn't shout, threaten, or demand attention. True power is quiet, steady, and unshakable. Peace is the ultimate power, the kind that no insult can wound, no chaos can disrupt, and no enemy can steal. It is the fortress within you, impervious to the storms of the outside world. As the Stoics taught, peace is something that no one can take from you. Think about it. When was the last time someone screamed their way into control? Anger might give the illusion of power, but it's fleeting and destructive, leaving wreckage behind. True power lies in remaining calm, while others lose themselves in turmoil. It's the ability to smile in the face of provocation, to walk away from pettiness, and to carry yourself with dignity while others flounder. Picture this. You're at work, and a colleague is furiously berating you over something trivial. Their voice rises, their face reddens, and everyone in the room shifts uncomfortably. What do? React with equal anger, or simply pause, look them in the eye, and say, "I understand your concern. Let's address this calmly." The room goes silent. The power shifts. Your peace doesn't just protect you, it commands respect. Peace isn't passive, it's a force. It disarms aggression, neutralizes hostility, and places you in control of yourself and the situation. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor who ruled during one of history's most chaotic periods, knew this well. He wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment." When you cultivate inner peace, you remove the ability of external events or people to dictate your emotions. You become untouchable, not because the world changes, but because you no longer allow it to disturb you. How to harness the power of peace. 1. Detach from external chaos. Remind yourself that outside events don't control you. Your reaction does. When chaos strikes, pause and think, does this deserve my energy? 2. Choose calm as your default. Practice staying composed in small moments, traffic jams, minor annoyances, so you're prepared for larger conflicts. 3. Guard your inner world. Treat your peace like a treasure. Not everyone deserves access to it. The beauty of peace is that it radiates outward. Your calm becomes contagious, influencing those around you. The angry person loses steam when faced with your composure. The dramatic friend stops pulling you into their whirlwind when they realize you won't engage. Peace isn't just a personal shield, it's a force that reshapes your environment. The Stoics believed that the ultimate freedom and power comes from mastering oneself. As Marcus Aurelius taught, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. To live in peace is to live with ultimate strength. It's not about avoiding conflict, but about remaining undisturbed by it. The storms will rage, but within your fortress of peace, you will remain unmoved, untouchable, and truly powerful. So the next time life tempts you to react, choose peace instead. It's not weakness, it's the greatest power you'll ever wield. Conclusion. Anger does not have to rule over you. With the wisdom of Stoicism, you can transform it from a destructive force into a tool for personal growth and ultimate peace. By mastering your emotions, you not only gain control over yourself, but also the power to face life's challenges with strength and clarity. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to hit like, share, and subscribe to Victory Stoic. Join us on this transformative journey of mastering emotions and living a life of purpose. Leave a comment with the affirmation, "I choose calm and power," to declare your commitment to emotional mastery. Thank you for watching. Remember, peace isn't something you seek outside, it's something you cultivate within. Until next time, stay strong, stay calm, and we'll see you in the next video on Victory Stoic.